Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Student Athlete Podcast, Episode 3. Today I'm here with
Yuki, Elkotby.
There we go. So, just give me a brief description of who you are and what you do.
My name is Elkotby, aka Yuki. I'm student athlete at Brooklyn College. I do two sports, women's volleyball and women's swimming. I just currently changed my major into double major, linguistic and communication science disorder.
Sick. So, tell me, in terms of, you just mentioned your major, I thought you were in exercise science, actually.
Yeah, I switched a lot, honestly. I committed to the college computer science, then I switched to psychology, then back to exercise science, then computer science, then I was like, never mind, and I changed it to linguistic communication.
Are you working currently in something for linguistics and communications?
Unfortunately, no, but I do work as a lifeguard, and I do volleyball coach.
Oh, nice. So, going into volleyball, how'd you get into volleyball? What's the story behind that?
When I was young, I was so obsessed with basketball, and in Egypt, we had the courts outdoors, and it was really sunny. I used to so upset, I would shoot alone under the sun, no matter how hot it is. But then my favorite gym teacher, he took me on the side, and he was like, hey, to volleyball court, and then he introduced it to me, and then since then I liked it. But then immigrating to USA in 2017, I stopped all sports, and I was playing, and then I had my favorite gym teacher, it was a different one, it was Mr. Lamb, that's his name, and he looked at me and he was like, you're good, you should go find Mr. Hand, who's the coach for girls volleyball. And that year, I think it was too late to reach out for the season, and then I made friends through playing tennis and badminton. And then
that's the connection. In high school.
Yeah.
That's in high school.
And then I built up connection, and then had friends on volleyball, and then I joined volleyball.
And do you remember your first volleyball experience in terms of maybe a game, maybe there's a specific moment when you were younger? Just tell me something, whether or not you had a first experience.
I don't know. I remember. When I was in middle school, my friends would I was so obsessed with hitting. So I would toss the ball to my friend. I'm like, it's okay, just try to set it. And she does not know how to play it. She tries, and then I would try to jump and hit it. As for high school, I just remember how much my team was very supportive. I was tall and I was 5'11" for a junior, but just how supportive they were for I was it's my first year playing it, an organized team. And I was a starter. I was just being subbed for back row, but they were still supportive. Nobody was oh, who is she to be a starter? It's her first year, and she never played volleyball. She never won a club. No, they were very you got it. So it's it's very, very nice to have such a supportive environment overall.
And that drove you to continue playing further.
Yeah.
And now you play for the Brooklyn College women's volleyball team,
Sure.
which is a big thing in itself.
Right.
And I want to go back to talking about the linguistics and communications. Do you want to do something specific with that degree?
Yeah, I want to become a speech therapist, to be honest. I feel, I don't know, growing up, I learned Arabic and English, but then I really speak bad in both of them. When I was young, Mom said I was good. So then, as someone that just struggles sometimes even to communicate, I think it's such a blessing to teach youth to learn how to speak, even if it's genetic or biologically an issue, or it's just a confident issue, either or. I think it's an honor to help someone to express themselves and just use words, and it's such a beautiful to just use your own voice.
And that has to do with just conversational speech or public speaking or all of it?
I think just as an all, but I do want to focus on just the ability to speak.
Awesome. And I wanted to also ask you, since we're going to sports, has it ever crossed your mind to ever work for a sports team? I know you want to do communications, linguistics, but is that something in your mind that you want to work with a team?
I don't mind. I did have a mini experience. Right now, currently coaching at Bev, but then I do look forward to coaching, but also I don't mind because it's something that I love. If I didn't get the chance to make it big, then I would love to teach someone the knowledge that I have, and maybe hopefully get them somewhere big.
Right. And you work as a lifeguard. You work in Brooklyn College as a lifeguard?
Yeah.
Do you work as a lifeguard anywhere else?
Well, it's a summer job. It's a resident pool.
Oh, okay. And you said you work as a volleyball coach. And I mean, what school is it, by the way? And
Oh, I work for a club, so it's called Brooklyn Elite Volleyball.
mm,
And but my first job as a coach, which still goes, is Big City Volleyball,
mm,
which is just like you sign up for classes and adults or youth, and we just like coach you skills. We have like different levels or like different skills if you want. You can have private sessions, and it's kind of like unfortunate but fortunate. So I joined Bev as a club to coach, but because Big City did not have a club. But like as I joined this year, they started to have a club, which is like, oh no.
Okay.
Hopefully I'll be able to like commit fully to Big City.
Nice. And given that you work,
Mm.
you also you're an athlete. You have school, you have classes. How would you say is the best way to manage your time properly, and especially do a work-life balance?
I would say definitely do not procrastinate. And if you feel like you're falling off or like you're unsure about materials regarding as it's sports or like school or work, do ask questions overall, look for resources, and make sure to communicate through all your like my coach, my bosses, my teachers, like, hey, I work and I'm an athlete and I do two sports back to back. And like to my coaches, hey, like I love, like I want to commit, I want to come to every practice, but it could sometimes conflict with work because like we try to make it like work around it. So like definitely communicate always.
Mm. And now I want to go into life across America. You are from Egypt. You were born there.
Yeah.
And what year and I mean what age did you come here?
Well, it was 2017. I think in like August, September. I think it was August 29th.
Mm.
And so I was like, I think 15, 14. It was like freshman year in high school. I think overall we came over, my mom and my sister, to just like build a new life and just like hope to like have more opportunities and just grow from it. I think like it's pretty simple. Like it's just like it could be a little bit sad because like the family base is at Cairo, Egypt, and so like not being apart from the big family, just like it could take a toll a bit on you.
Was there something going on in Egypt during that time, and that's why you guys migrated here, or not really? You guys just looked for a better life, as you say.
Well, I think it's looking for a better life, and as well as just like I grew being raised by a single mother, which like a lot of single mothers tend to like struggle with finding jobs at certain age in like other countries in USA, or just like Western, if like because she had to like stop working, and then I think when she stopped working, that's like when you return back to like the field, they become very picky. Like I remember she would like get rejected, and the statement is you're overqualified, and I was like, it's just not a reason to like reject something. You hire them, and then you could promote them later on when the chance comes. And that's when you could see the inequality in a sense. But like just seeing her fighting and then like coming here to like for more opportunities and chances, like I think like inspires you to always fight and like to just never give up.
Awesome. And did that play a factor into what you're doing right now, in terms of coming from Egypt, people not being able to speak English obviously over there? What language do they speak over there?
Well, we are taught English, but mainly we speak Arabic.
Arabic, okay.
Yeah.
So did that play a role into what you want to do right now as a career?
Well, I mean, yeah, because like when I was young, my mom put me in like international schools. We learned French, English, and Arabic, and her and my sister like claimed that I was really, really good at all three languages. But then like we had to transfer schools, and then I kind of like dropped all education. I just focused on running around and playing sports. And since then, like unfortunately, I did struggle with languages overall, and I would like use the word this, that, and like that thing rather than like using verbs and like just overall vocabulary. Exactly, like it happens, but just like I relied on it too much that like it took away a little bit of like my communications, and so I was like, okay, like I need to rebuild that, and so just. Then I heard about it because I was in love with the idea of linguistics and just learning languages overall. And then an amazing person was like, oh, you could, he was like, well, you're not majoring in linguistics. I was like, because what am I going to do with it? And then they were like, you could be a speech therapist. And I was like, oh, but she sounded like genius. And I was like, okay, I'll roll with that.
What's your shriek in Duolingo right now?
Oh, actually, I just broke it. It's on 0. No. I know, it's so bad. I think the highest I had was like 1 year, and that was about it.
Really?
Yeah, that's it.
I only had 12 days, so you're doing better than me.
No way.
You're doing better than me. Also, I went to Morocco last summer. I'm not sure if you recall. I remember posting it, but it gave me like a different perspective what people, live throughout their daily life. Because living in America, and especially in the West, you kind of, I wouldn't say more privileged, but you have more opportunities. And going to a country like Morocco, I started seeing that, wow, people are every day hustling just to even eat.
Sure.
What's life like in Egypt? Granted, I don't know, maybe I could be wrong. Maybe it could be similar to Morocco since it's north and, they also speak a little bit, Muslim countries.
Yeah, I feel like in Egypt, we do, like, also kind of relate to that. Like, every day people have to hustle. But one thing that, like, I really love, it's like an Islamic country, but we also, like, share with, like, Christian people, which is really good. There's, like, optics. And, sorry, I mean Coptics. I, like, mispronounced that. And then Coptic.
Coptic.
Yeah.
What is that?
They're, like, the ancestor originally in Egypt, and I think they're mostly Christian.
Okay.
Yeah. And, it's, like, very, very lovely to, like, grow up. I've always, like, had Christian friends, which is so nice. At the same time, you grow up, you see, I grew up seeing my grandpa always leave home, go to the mosque that was, like, in the neighborhood, like, literally 1 block away to pray the 5 prayers. And, like, a lot of people, like, act up on religion. And so it's, like, really, really nice to, like, grow up learning to be disciplined by your belief and having principles and the value of those. Along with, I feel like in Egypt it has this, like, side that is so sweet that people generally just care, and they don't care what they get from it. Like, if God forbid you get into an accident, you would see, like, strangers running over to your car to make sure you're good. But unfortunately, I feel also, like, with modern day nowadays, I also, like, see it over social media where, like, people do complain that some areas people will just sit and watch, which is kind of sad. But just knowing that the core of the country is just, like, people that care, it's just, like, so sweet. Because
more
then
giving. That's what I saw a lot too. People are more willing to give, and they don't even have that much. Even I got invited into a home to eat at dinner, which I was like, whoa, you know what I mean? I'm sitting with their kids, I'm holding their kids, and it's like I'm a complete stranger,
No, yeah.
But, they're very open arms.
Truly, we learn to, like, trust other people through trusting God. Like, if something bad happens, it's because it's, like, God's destiny, and, like, there is something out of it that you get to learn from it. So it's just, like, truly just having strong faith.
And what do they mainly play over there in terms of sport in Egypt? Soccer?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Or football? I'm American.
Yeah, we call it football.
I'm American. Leave me alone. But did you ever try playing soccer in Egypt?
Yeah, when I was really, really young, in my second school that I transferred to, and I was really, like, began to be obsessed over sports, I had, like, a lot of guy friends, and they loved to play, like, football on the streets or soccer. And I would always love to challenge them because it was, like, run faster and whatever, and I'm like, I could do that too. And even if I lose, like, it's okay, you get to learn. And I enjoyed playing a goalkeeper though. Yeah, they were just like, oh my god, too much footwork. Like, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Have you ever tried to go back to Egypt, just to see what it's like now? Because you left when you were 15, and you're now what, 21?
22.
22. So.
Yeah. Like,
have you ever tried going back?
I do hope, like, to do so soon.
Yeah.
But so far, I think I'm still, like, trying to build life here, and then once it is a little bit more stable, then I might go back.
Okay. And I want to talk about volleyball, and I'm going to touch on swimming later on. But in terms of volleyball, you played on the team for 2 years in Brooklyn College, right?
Yep. 2 years.
And just let me know your feedback on the team as it was 2 years ago and what it is now.
I mean, I know I often talk, like, to Coach Joseph, our current coach, to, like, when we try to compare how our team's evolving, I always, like, drop the first year. And it's because, I mean, we had good athletes, and we had Tessa. She transferred from, like, D1. But it's just the concept of we did not have a good coach mentally. Like, there was a lot of mental playing, a lot of kind of, like, mental abuse in a sense, inappropriate stuff that being told. And so, like, it kind of brought down team culture, and then girls started, like, disliking each other, badly talking about each other. But it's like, because when you have a coach, they should be your leader. You should, like, follow them. So then when they do negative stuff that's impacting each individual and a team overall, it's, like, gonna bring down the team and the team culture within the teammates bond. And so for that year, like, I know we were run-ups, so, like, we came in second, which is, it's something good that, like, we were able to go through this adversities. And I mean, at the same time, we still had the good skills because the year before they were the championship winners
Mhm.
of CUNY, and so like it was good that we were able to still push through against like all these adversities. But I feel like the last 2 years, like 2025, so 2023 and 2024. 2023 we're still adjusting, new coach, how to bring up and rebuild a good culture for the team and like upcoming like players and future coaches and program. So like it was a bit tough because then we're still, you know, adjusting to the coach style. Coach Joseph's style is like a bit different. Like he has experience of coaching D1 school and he coaches a club, but I feel like he's like he's an elder, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like we're young, so then there's a miscommunication goes on easily to happen, and then that just causes like frustration from both sides.
It's a different of cultures or
Mhm.
styles of teaching, or
Yeah,
it's just not working with you guys.
I think honestly it's like the first two, it's just like different culture and at the same time just the teaching style. It's like a lot of us to like adjusting and adapting and trying to have that like understanding, because a lot of us like, as like I mentioned, like I'm not the only like player that coaches. Like we have a lot of players that also coaches. So then we will respect a different technique, a different style. But we sometimes, because when we coach, so we have questions, right? Like, why am I doing this or whatever? But sometimes the way we experience it to explain it to the coach why we're playing with the emotions of as an athlete, it could seem a little bit odd or like indirected rather than, oh, why are we doing this, you know? And I guess it just like causes miscommunication and then it leads to conflict and which is kind of unfortunate. But I feel like through time, hopefully they're going like through with it and being able to like fix it a bit.
Right.
Because I feel like what coaches coach like is pretty good knowledge. Like he goes over the fundamentals, which is like in order for you to go even pro, like you have to excel at the fundamentals. That's how you make it big.
Mhm.
So that just like reflects how much going over fundamentals every day is good. Sometimes as an athlete you're just like bored. You're like, why am I doing the same thing over and over again? Like God, but like that's how you get better. Like I don't know if you ever watched Karate Kid with like Jackie Chan when he let him put the jacket, drop it, and he was like so frustrated, like this is not karate. But then he like when he showed him, he was like, whoa, like how am I doing this? So like sometimes
like even some you could say Soviet Union coaches, they first I know a boxer. So there's Lomachenko. I don't know if you heard of him.
No.
He's a Ukrainian boxer, and his coach, who was his father, told him, before you box, you got to learn how to dance, so that his footwork is correct. So he had to take upon 3 years of dancing. I believe, I don't know what type of dance, maybe it was traditional dancing, but he learned how to dance, and then he has actually one of the best footworks in the boxing, game right now. And even, he's pretty old right now. He's like, I think 35.
Oh, that age. That's nice. Well, yeah, so see, it's something like that. Sometimes you're just like, why is this relate? Like, I feel also like majority of like good pros, like athlete, they like their first sport was different, and then they were like maybe playing baseball or something, and then they were like, oh, never mind, let me just play a different sport, and then they played the different sport, and then they're like, wow, like I'm excelling at it. So it's like you learn something, and then you take from it, and then you try to like adapt it into the new sport that you're playing, and then it benefit you, and then it makes you like excel at it. So then just sometimes you just gotta trust. But sometimes it is hard to trust when you're like, I don't know where we're going, like, So it's just like a little thing that just sitting and talking, I think it will resolve it for sure.
Sorry about that, guys. Okay, we're getting back to the video. The video kind of corrupted. I didn't do something on the settings, but we're getting back to the video, all right? So last season, you had a lot of games. You played, what, like 20 games, something like that?
I think, yeah.
Before you were injured, and we're going to speak about that also.
Yeah.
What's a memorable game for you last season that really stuck to you? Maybe you did very good in that game. Maybe you even, did very bad in that game. What's something that really stuck to you?
Okay, it's kind of weird. Okay, my favorite game, actually, I was setting out from it because of my injury, and it was against John Jay at John Jay. Ashley Fong just had this like crazy bounce, and I remember just jumping up in a boot. It was just phenomenal. So it was just like cool stuff. Like you can't blame me for it. It's wild.
So, and that was in Brooklyn College, or that was at John Jay?
It was at John Jay's.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, even better.
Lovely.
So, hence I brought up the injury. It seemed like you were progressing throughout the season. You know, you were getting up in the lineup, you were starting to play more games, and then you got hit with an injury. Just run me through what it was, what's the injury, and when you found out that you had this issue.
So last year, I think in 2023, before October 1st, that week of the end of September, we had like 6 games, like 2 tri-match on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, like back to back. And coach was like, this is so funny, he was so worried that someone's gonna get injured, but gladly we all like made it safe. But then on the way commuting to home, I took like the queue, and unfortunately the way to go home in Manhattan, it was not working, so I had to like go back to Coney. And so when I was transferring going down, I had like a duffel, my backpack, and a tote bag that was just like filled. I literally just looked at my phone for a second. I thought I was done with the stairs. I reached like out, and then there was like only 2 more stairs to go, and so I rolled it and fell on it completely, like I'm sitting down. So then like it was hurting bad, but I just like left it off, and I was like, oh, like I probably just rolled it, it's okay. And then I went home. It was like pure agony, but I just was like pushing it through. And then I go home. I had to like walk also because the R train just could not work right also. And I remember just going home. It was like hurt so bad. I had to elevate it. I'm not really a painkiller person, so I was like, okay, I'll just sleep it off and cry it out. And I did. And then I woke up in the morning, used my old crutches, and I came here to school. Went to Jason, and he was like, yeah, you probably just like sprained it. I went to a school doctor. I think we did only X-ray, so we thought it was just sprained. I think I got like outbreak for like 2 weeks and a half, and then I got cleared to play because the playoffs. And then I just had like the swelling was like triple my regular size. So then I intuitively felt like something was odd, and like the pain and the agony. But we always like, you know, it's season, it's busy, and then multi-athlete swimming comes after, so you just roll with it. And then 2024, I also sprained my knee in the semifinal against Hunter at Hunter. So then my knee is causing me trouble during this season, 2024. And so I go to a doctor, and I'm like, hey, like, could I get like PT at least? I go to this new PT, and he goes, your ankle. And I'm like, no, my ankle like hurts, but like it's fine. Like I'll just shake it off. It's an old injury. But then he goes, no, like I need you to do MRI on that. And so I did. And ironically, before the week exactly before to go to my PT, and he sent me an MRI, I had it like this new side pain of my ankle that like we thought it was just like my bone being bruised from my old shoe because it was like worn out, and then I was waiting until my new shoe arrives. But then I got the new shoe, still hurting. We tried to like put pads, but it was like the pressure was hurting, but I did not communicate that through, and I feel like lack of communication, that's what kind of like led to it a bit.
Right.
And also like just overall dismissing the pain as well, like it was 50-50. And then I go take the MRI. The PT had a feeling that the ligament, which I rolled, was torn or partially torn, which it was true. But unfortunately, this new pain was also the tendon being torn for like 50 millimeter, which also needed stitches. And I remember when like I give the report to my like PT, he goes, yeah, the ligament. He goes, yeah, I expected that. And then he reads the tendon, and he goes, yeah, no, that's like beyond what I imagined. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, did it hurt? And I was like, yeah, you just, you play it off. He himself thought I was taking painkillers, and I was like, no, I just like play it off, like use the pain to motivate you.
And did you do that, like pretty much walk it off because your teammates, you wanted to like show out for them in a way, or like what was going through your mind during that time? Why were you playing through an injury?
I don't know. I mean, I think I was just like easily injured with like mini injuries, like a little tendinitis here and there, and it comes and it goes, and like I think it's because like athletically I did neglect my strengthening and conditioning, and therefore it was easily get injured because like I'm only playing on the court time and no like fundamental training preparing my body for it, and therefore it was like easy having shoulder pain, whatever. And so I was like, oh, maybe just like it is like, as everybody told me, like when you roll your ankle, pain comes back and yada yada yada. As for like the year when I rolled it, I did come back because like it was the playoffs, and it was like all like provide good blocks, like I would rather be there. And main reason also for me, to be honest, because we did have like good talented players. We had Ayu, we had Megan, we had like crazy players that could provide also like crazy block and offense. It was also like I wanted to play because I knew it was last time for Ayu and Ashley and Megan to play. It was like their last complete eligibility, no more. and Katya was a senior, so I was like, I want to play with these people. I was like, I'll just push it up. Like, it's just like playoffs. So, you push through.
Yeah, and I mean, currently, what's the condition of it as of right now?
So gladly, I had the surgery in February 24th. Ironically, she had to remove the ligament that was partially torn because the elasticity within it was like not good at all. So she put an anchor. It's not a metal though, which is no shame in. And
Run
then
me through what that is exactly. The
so
anchors.
an anchor, I'm unsure of the material, but I think it's like maybe like plastic or rubber-ish, because
it's not aluminum or anything.
no, but it's not, because when I asked her for like metal detecting issues, she told me no, it's not a metal. And when I asked her for like, is it good for sports, she said yes. So I'm assuming it's something that's like flexible enough to do the job of a ligament and movement and mobility of it, yet still strong enough to like handle impact and any stress and weight.
So it's a form of rubber.
Yeah, I'm assuming so.
Okay.
And then just for the tendon, she had to stitch it, which is the primary issue that we're like stressed off for like the recovery, not to rush it, because if you rush it and then it tears again, God knows if like that will be repairable or not.
Right.
So yeah.
And I mean, during that time, did you use swimming? Since you're a swimmer, did you use that as rehab? Because I would, if I was dealing with that, I would try to just put my feet even in the water and just try to like
kick a little.
Yeah, kick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, I wanted to like get faster, and since I started swimming, I was a little uncomfortable, and so I was like, okay, like this is my sophomore year, like I gotta do better. And so I think I like try to push, but also like with the pain, it would like come and go. And I think we were all like more concerned for the knee, because the knee was like just new, like my sprained ankle, it was like in October, and then the knee happened in November, which like when I joined swimming, so then the pain was just fresh, so we're all just more concerned of that. But I think pretty much like sometimes I would use swimming, but I feel like I would not be able to say like, oh, I use that as rehab, because every time you're in the water you have to kick hard and fast, so you can go far. So I don't think I took it easy, but I was learning to like, because one thing is swimming, you have to learn how to pace yourself, and also sometimes do take your time, because if you're swimming 1,500, you can just go like all you're gonna die.
My experience is too. Oof.
Yeah.
Going into swimming, because we brought up swimming. I feel like it was one of the most like eye-opening things, because it actually led me to just keep myself pushing into doing something. Earlier practices also. I just want to understand where you're coming from, based on also where I'm coming from, because of course swimming is not your first sport. It was volleyball. But what led you into getting into swimming?
So I think when I was a freshman, 2022, I was a sophomore occasionally, but athletic freshman. There was Monica, a tennis player. She was on the swimming team, and I remember I was like, oh, like I want to push my athleticism, because I had a feeling on the volleyball court I'm slacking a little bit, but I never thought of going to the gym. But so I was like, okay, let me use like another sport. And so I remember she was like, yeah, like swimming, we need people. And I was like, okay, like I didn't swim in years, but like I don't mind. And I remember just reaching out to my best friend Lexi, and I was like, hey, like I might join the swimming team, but I'm scared. And she was like, hey, like I can join with you. That year we had Coach Vlad and not Brian. Brian was like the coach before, and then I think he dropped, and then we had Vlad covering. And we were like learning from zero, from scratch. It was like I'm 6 feet, and you know how like our shallow is 4 feet. It was like the lifeguard had to bring a chair, like sit there so I wouldn't drown. Yeah, it was like a really great experience. That's why when I see anybody coming in new and they're like good, but they're like a little scared, I'm like, hey, like you're doing much better than me. Trust me.
And you plan on joining next year as well?
Yeah, I'm so excited.
So this is going to be your third year in swimming?
Actually fourth.
Fourth?
Yeah, because when I was sophomore academically, it was my first year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, you look at that. I mean, it's also another great thing in terms of swimming, because you're swimming with your sister in Brooklyn College.
I know.
And has that brought you guys closer? And do you guys get competitive too?
Honestly, yes. She is really good at breaststroke. Like everybody agrees that butterfly is the hardest, I think. And Ronaldo, sorry, I almost said Brian. He also agreed the breast is hard, because it's just like you have to finesse the technique in order for you to go fast and to move overall, right? And to like not get tired easily. And so to me, I was like, she's really good at it. Like, she's
Mm.
better than me. And I always look at her and I'm like, okay, like we gotta raise some that. So it's like this, I think this year I was able to get her in like 25 yard, like the best. I looked at her and I was like, hey.
Yeah. You mentioned also to me, Brian. You know, how is he as a head coach? I know, from my perspective, it's it could be the same. It could be a little bit different in my own interpretation. But how is he for you?
I mean, Sharif, I feel like he's very supportive, but also like coming from, he knows volleyball is my first sport, and I feel like coming from volleyball, they always like receive me with like, I'm always excited to join swimming, but also like very exhausted and mentally and emotionally tired from volleyball in a sense, because there's a lot of adjusting that we're trying to do. And so he's very like welcome and understanding, but very like disciplined also. Like if you want to be in the water, you gotta be in the water. Like I remember this year I did like 45 push-ups because I was 45 minutes late, and I was like, I didn't even think I could do that, but I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then he had that rule, 1 minute, 1 push-up, and so it was really, really good. It's like put us in a good discipline for having like a 8 a.m. practice, because you know 8 a.m. you gotta be in the water, which is like fair. That's why I think he's pretty understanding, and like if you just go and talk with him, he sometimes will put you where he needs you, which as you as a swimmer, like you get frustrated, like, oh, I'm not mentally ready for that 1,000 yet, but like sometimes, you know, you gotta take one bullet for the team, and it's sad and unfortunate, but you know, hopefully another meets, like he will ask you, be like, hey, text me what event you want to swim, and I'll try to fit you in there. So
so he's reasonable in that regard.
Yeah,
you know, I see it from him. He wants to do the best possible thing to win. He wants us to win,
100%.
even if it comes at a cost of, let's say, he wouldn't put me in a 4 IM, but if he sees that I'm capable of doing it, but not to a point where I'd be like a number 1 swimmer, he'd still put me in there for us to rack up points and for us to get better. And even, you know, we got second place, the men this year. You know, we did that, and we did that, but majority of us were thrown into events that we weren't, let's say, we didn't really, you know, want to do them, or like it wasn't our preferred. You know, we more so looked at it as we're trying to get our team farther than we have in the previous years, and you know, we got second for the first time. You know that
since like I think 2020.
No, longer. I think
2017.
No, 10. I think it's like 10 years, something like that.
Wow.
No, I think it's 2017, but it's only the second time we've ever done this.
Yeah.
Which is interesting enough. I'm surprised in that too.
Yeah.
But also, you know, Ronaldo, you mentioned him briefly, but how is he as an assistant coach? He's also, by the way, our technical coach for technique, for also, you know, motivation. If we ever need anything, you know, we go to him as well. Let's say if Brian doesn't have the opportunity and chance to, we have Ronaldo to go to. How is he to you?
I don't know. Well, okay, so with Ronaldo's got out like different, because so the first year I swam with Coach Vlad, he was like next to me swimming in like a different way. So like to me, I feel like very connected to him. Like I respect him as a coach. Like if he tells me something, even if I don't want to do it, like I know I gotta do it, because like he has more understanding. And like as much as like I see him as a friend and a teammate, I also like, since I joined, because I was like still beginner, still learning how to like trust the water and stuff and trust myself, he was still like coaching me as my teammate. And so like him being my assistant coach wasn't really that like, wow, big difference, I need to adjust. Like no, I was still like, okay, like same kind of routine, just like maybe
you're just
more.
getting paid now.
Yeah, literally. Well, I hope he gets paid.
Let's hope he's getting paid. We hope you're getting paid by Brooklyn College. If not, hopefully the Student Athlete Podcast can provide you with some type of service. Let me ask you, there's a lot of moments also in our swimming team. We went to Metros, we went to Champs for 3 days straight. By the way, we go to championships for 3 days, early morning, what is it? Like we have to be there in the pool already swimming at 8.
Yeah.
So we swim for 3 days straight on that, and that's our championship, and you have to consistently be a good swimmer for those 3 days. And you know, it's tough. I see it as tougher than honestly other sports where you would have one event. It more like honestly looks like the NBA Finals where they have the series of 7.
Yeah.
Like you need to keep doing it every day. and you can't let up. But what's some of the best moments for you during the season? You can name one or a few. Up to you.
Oh God. I would say like this season so far, like the current one, it was like my favorite. Even though unfortunately I couldn't finish it, but it's because I was able, like since like I was like started like dip in the pool and learn how to like still float, I was like, wow, butterfly looks so good, like I want to be a flyer. And I feel like this year I was able to achieve that. Like my time is still to like work on and the technique as well, but just like I feel like I got the grasp of it, and so like it's really really sweet. Like I remember my last practice, it was on a Saturday with Coach Antonio, and like the entire practice we were basically doing fly and IM, and our recovery time was like doing 200 free. And like I would have never imagined like going back. I don't think freshman me would have thought like, oh, she could do that. Like until now, me thinking like I did a whole practice of an IM and a fly. It makes me really really proud. And I feel like it was for my health.
Injured, right?
Yeah, with like the pre surgery. It was like still injured, ankle was hurting a bit, and like knee. But I feel like in swimming they were all very mindful. Like I remember how in that practice when like the muscle that's like connecting that tendon was like cramping, and I remember Coach Antonio was like, I'm so sorry, and I was like, no, like it's okay, like this is swimming, like you're gonna cramp if you don't hydrate. And they're all like very mindful, and they're all like, okay, like maybe I cut it a little bit short, but like they still like push you to do still something, which I really really appreciate. Like they taught you that, like one of my favorite quotes like by Martin Luther King was like, if you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. And with all the mean, just keep moving. And I feel like that's one thing in swimming, like you learn to like well-being is important, but you still have to work to improve. And it was just like one way of like, okay, you don't ever give up, you just keep going.
Right.
And so like it just like, how to say that, like I feel like going into surgery, a lot of people were worried about like me mentally going like down and depressed. And I feel like my down and dark and depressed was like very very like maybe one night. Other than that, I was like very motivated, because when you have swimming in your life, like it teaches you like you might not be like the first one to tap that pad, but you finish it and not get DQ'd. And if you got DQ'd, hey, listen, you will still finish your event, even though you got DQ'd. And that's self-respect. You didn't be like, screw this, I'm getting out. Like, no, you finished it, and that's...
It takes guts to just jump in the pool and do it.
Exactly. So it's, something to be very, very proud of oneself, and to just, like, carry on in your life.
And this is the last thing. Moving forward, what life lessons have you taken from volleyball, swimming, that you can implement in your life outside of sports?
Honestly, wow, that's a good question. I feel like a lot of stuff. Like I grew up being such a little bit people pleaser, even though I'm a rebel. So I learned with the injuries and like being frustrated and feeling like always taking bullet for the team sometimes. And like you learn to like advocate for yourself, 100% to communicate and not to fear anyone. Like, because some people like get intimidated, like, oh, it's my head coach, and they get intimidated, but they're overall still human beings. Like, you just, like, if you don't disrespect, you have 100% the right to talk. You just have to be respectful and communicative, because if they never know what you're going through, they will like you go on a court, you smile through the pain, right? But they don't know you're in pain. Like there's a lot of time I have into breakdowns on the court because coach wanted me to use a technique, and I was like, my body can't do that, but I never communicated it. So then I burst into tears, and I'm like, I can't, and I like walk out of the gym, try to wash my face, but it's like I come back and he's like, well, what's wrong? And I'm like, it hurts, and he's like, communicate it. So I think 100% just whatever you go in life, you gotta be communicative. Even if someone like point at you, be like, oh, you're such a fool for not knowing that. But I think there's this philosopher that said I would rather be a fool for a minute than fool forever, right? Because like, okay, like you look at me and you're like, oh damn, you're such a dummy, but it's like, but now I have the knowledge, so I
think the exact quote is, a man who asks a question is only a fool for that minute, but a man who never asks is a fool for life. Yeah,
I think it's that one. So it's like, you literally just learn to like embrace mistakes. And I feel like something that just makes me sad also as a coach that I see, and I see even as a teammate, that people will be like, hey, this is embarrassing, and but then you learn to like, this is not like, okay, it's embarrassing, but maybe it's embarrassing funny. Just laugh it off and enjoy the moment of the mistake, and just like move on with your life and learn why it was a mistake and correct that. So take your mistakes as the stairs to like grow, and your failures, rather than judging yourself and just building a box to be trapped in.
Sick. All right.
Thank you.
Yuki, thank you.
Thank you, Alan.
Honestly, it's been amazing.
Episode
3 in the books with Yuki. Stay tuned, guys, for more. There's going to be more episodes coming up. And remember, stay true, play sport, and live life. Thank you.
Woo! Thank you. And the new camera.
And a new camera, and to a new camera. There we go.
Thank you, Alan.
Of course. Take care, everybody.
Mucho tiempo le hago caso al corazón y pasan los días, los meses pensando en dolor. Ha llegado el tiempo para usar la razón antes que sea tarde.